Okay, so we have a bunch of green beans that we just picked within the last couple hours. We snapped them. Now we're going to can them. So Jeremy has a pressure cooker getting ready. And then all you do is take your freshly snapped green beans, fill your mason jar. Not all the way. Add some water. Now here's where it gets controversial and a little crazy. So his mom, my grandma, they always say you have to add salt. Well, we don't really care for the salt. We said too salty. So I did read in the ball guideline, you do not have to add salt. It's optional. So for a little bit healthier, you don't have to add salt. So
Filled it to water in. You want to have about an inch of head space on the top. I like to wipe the edge of the top of the jar off, make sure there's nothing in there. You take a lid, you put it on, and then you want to get a lid ring. You put that on top of your lid, screw it on, get it on there nice and tight. And then I'm going to take my jars and I'm going to set them in the canner. And I got a little too much water here, so I got to take a little out. Because you don't want the water to go over top of the cans. It's always a guessing game as to how much water you need. And according to specs on my canner, I can fit 7 quart jars in here. So I got 6. Ooh, gotta take a little bit more out. All right, that should be good. So I'll put these jars back in here. Okay. So I got my 7 jars in here. The water's just at the perfect level. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on. And you got an arrow. So I got an arrow here and I got an arrow here, and I want them to line up. So they lock in place. So now it's locked in place. I'm going to turn it around so I can see my gauge. Now what I'm going to do here, and this will take a little while, so we'll probably come back in a little while. I'm going to let this go, and when I see steam coming out of here, then I'm going to put this on there, and I'll explain what happens after that. Okay, so now I'm seeing just a really light thing of steam, and it's really, really hard to see, but it's coming out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on top. And you can kind of hear the air pressure coming through, and that's going to block it. And you can see that's up now. So that means it's plugged. So now what I want to do is I'm going to watch this needle. And when it gets up to about 10, I'm going to start a 25-minute timer. And I'm going to stay here and watch it because I want to keep it between 10 and 12. And if it starts getting a little high, then all I do is I reduce the heat a little bit, and then the needle will stay the same. And I got to do that for 25 minutes. Sometimes what I do with anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes left, whatever. If I'm to that point where it's up there and I have to reduce and I don't have much to do, longer to reduce, I'll just turn it off and let it go. So we're going to let this go for a little while, and when the needle gets to 10, we'll come back and we'll talk about it a little more. So now if you look, my needle is just about to 10, and it is hitting 10 right now. So I'm going to start my 25-minute timer. Oops. And I started my 25-minute timer, and I'm just going to watch this needle, and if it gets a little higher, I'll just reduce my temperature. And we'll do this for 25 minutes. I'll pretty much just sit here and babysit this thing and wait for 25 minutes until it's done. And then in 25 minutes, we'll come back and I'll show you the finished product. Right. So as you can see, the timer's quit. My pressure's still at 10. I cannot open this. That would be extremely dangerous. I would not advise it. I wouldn't even advise pulling that off because you're going to burn yourself. But what I need to do is this. I need to let this sit until the pressure settles. And I know the pressure settles when this little thing goes flat, and you'll hear it click down and go flat. Then we know the pressure's settling, and also the gauge will go to 0. When it gets to that point, then I can finally open it. So when we get to that point, it's going to take a little while. We'll come back and I'll be able to open this and show you the finished product.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do here is, now that our can is done boiling and we've left it to cool, we're gonna take off this part, and it should be stuck on there after boiling. And then you just label it with the date. Now we're down here in the basement where we have all our canning stuff, and all our green beans are just gonna go on the shelf with the rest of our pickling stuff. Thank you for watching.